Let's talk about targets. Let's talk about goal setting. A couple weeks ago, my son and I were at our local fall fair and they had an archery range set up and you could pay a little bit of money and you got five arrows and there was three targets, 10 yards away, 20 yards away, and 30 yards away. With foam tips on the end of the arrows. And my son and I have gone to battle archery a few times where, it's kind of like American gladiators. You're running through a field and you're hiding behind things and you're shooting arrows at each other with like real arrows, real bows, big fat phone tips on the end of them. So that's what they had on these. And if you hit the three targets and your five arrows, you would win a year membership at our local archery club, which was a super cool prize. They've got like an 18-hole archery course with all these like animals that you can shoot that are like hidden targets and stuff. Really fun spot, plus the archery battles and that. And so we were talking about getting a membership anywhere, so I was invested. And I stepped up. I hit the first target on my first go. I missed the second target, hit it on my third go, and then I missed the third target, and I have one arrow left, and I put all my focus into it, and I ended up getting the bullseye on the third target, 30 yards out, and got a free membership at our archery club. So that's going to be our new rhythm as we move from swim season. We're going to move into archery season because um, I live on a small island. Eventually, if shit goes down, I might have to fend for ourselves. And so having the ability to hunt and do all those wilderness things is probably gonna just make my life better at some point. But I've played golf my most of my life, and this relates to business, everybody. So stay with me. In golf, you're hitting a tiny ball to an impossible target that's about this big hundreds of yards away and you're trying to do it in three or four or five shots. And it's the most ridiculous thing when you think about it. And in golf, they put all these hazards in your way. And you've got water to hit over or hit around. You've got sand traps. You got long grass. You've got trees and forests. You got to go up or around. You got to work the ball. And none of that works if you focus on the obstacles in your way. If you focus on hitting it in the water, deep inside your subconscious mind, your body tries to hit it in the water. Whereas if you can hold your entire focus and dissolve all of the nerves, and I've played at a professional level on the Canadian tour, the Vancouver tour, I compete regularly. And so playing in like high stress situations, which is business, playing and we're trying to play a bigger game. We're trying to grow beyond where we've ever been to generate more revenue, to break through the glass ceiling, to put ourselves into the spotlight. All these things do the exact same thing that golf does. They bring up our nerves, they bring up our insecurities. We wonder, oh God, is somebody watching me? And when we focus on all of the obstacles in our way, that becomes our target. When we focus on if our business fails, that becomes our target. When we focus on if we're going to run out of money, that becomes our target. If we focus on is anybody actually going to hire me for my signature workshop or partner with me for my signature workshop? That becomes our target. All the worries and fears become the point of focus, which becomes where we send our energy. And so in golf, you have to be so ridiculously committed that the only thing that exists in your entire being, in your mind, your thoughts, your presence, is the target. And the target is this tiny point off in the distance. And so as entrepreneurs, we need to take the same approach, is to choose a target in the distance that we're aiming for right now. So this could be the top of the mountain that you're dreaming of. And the more clear and specific we are, so when I play tournaments and I have a caddy, I ask my caddy to ask me the question, what are you doing here? And I try to describe the details to my caddy out loud so that my brain and my body can work together to execute on that strategy. And so with your business, and I'm going through this right now with Majik Kids. I just got accepted into an accelerator program for raising somewhere between $500,000 and $1 million so that I can step into full CEO and creatorship with that and scale the company with my full 100% focus. I'm also going to an event in Austin next month to raise money. And so right now I'm getting ridiculously clear on what is the target with this? Okay, let's pretend we have $1 million today. What is the target? Where are we aiming with this capital that I'm raising right now? And so for all of you, the same thing is like, are you crystal clear on your target right now? Or are we just kind of like waffling around, hoping good things come to us, and we're just like, swirling in the wind, or we're worried about all of the targets that are the obstacles in our way, that are the fear, the things that keep us down, that make us feel stressed. Are those our targets right now? The worry of failure. So I just want to take a few moments right now, or a few minutes, for all of you to just like really settle into. And you can close your eyes, you can open your eyes, whatever feels best. But just imagine you're sitting here, you've got a wide open landscape in front of you, you've got a blank canvas, and you are the creator of what you're choosing to create here. And way off in the distance is your goal. That's your target. You can see it, it's there, and around you, there might be obstacles. There might be things that are trying to bide for your attention. But focus in on the target. Put all your energy and focus into that. How would you describe your target that you're aiming for with your business right now? If you could describe it in as much detail as possible. If you could stand there and forget about the worries, forget about the fears, forget about the ideas of failure or that maybe people won't want what you have, and just focus on the empowerment of choosing a target. And sit with it for a few minutes and write down any of the descriptive details that you can see that will help you paint a picture and make a plan on how you hit that target sooner rather than later. In golf, when I stand behind the ball, I choose my target and I try to lock onto it energetically. And when I'm standing over my ball and I'm looking down at my ball, I am feeling inside of myself my connection to the target, as though I'm fully anchored and connected to the target while looking down at the ball. And so, as you're moving through your life and your day to day in your business, we need to stay anchored and feel that connection to the target at all moments so that that target pulls us forward. And so that each day when we wake up, our actions are intentional, that we're moving towards that target. And just like at the fall fair, I had to hit my first target first. So that was my first shot. Then I had to hit my next one. And then I had to hit the third one. And so when you're clear on what the farthest target is, the one that you're really aiming for, there might be targets that you have to hit before that. In golf, if it's a par five, you're not going for the hole in the first shot. You've got to set yourself up for success with a few other shots beforehand. So for you right now, with that anchor on the farthest target, what is your next shot? What is the first target? What is the next thing that you need to hit? Maybe mental chatter comes in of, I don't know what to do. What if it doesn't work out? And that's when you need to anchor so deeply and fiercely to the target that your conviction of hitting the target be so clear and so deep that it silences those voices. So take a few minutes to describe the target you're aiming for in your life right now. What are you actually aiming for? Because sometimes we might be doing a bunch of busy work that's actually out of alignment with your target. What's that target look like? What's it feel like inside of your body when you're locked onto it? And so, whatever that target is that you're aiming for, write it on a piece of paper and put it in front of your desk, put it beside your bed table. Like that is the day to day is staying anchored to the target inside of yourself so you don't veer off course, so that you don't get distracted by other things, so that when those voices come in, you relock onto the target and you remind yourself you know what you're doing, that you can do this, that you are doing this, and you keep aiming for the target. These last 4 years with Magic Kids have been the wildest years of my entrepreneurial journey, the most joyful and creative and fun. Um, and we've poured close to three quarters of $1 million into Magic Kids to build what we have with the app, the books, the audio stories, the licensing agreements, the lawyer agreements, the royalty agreements for Fair Pay Publishing, the bookstores, the brand, the events that I've gone to for it, paying my team, paying my techies, paying our developers. Like it's been a very much more expensive and arduous journey to get to the top of this mountain than I would have ever imagined when we began the journey. I've raised investment capital. I've put more than $500,000 of my own money into it. There's been days where it's like I see the tsunamis of cash coming down of what's going out next month. And I have to stay so focused and committed on the target rather than the disaster that is looking like it's going to wash down on me. So I get it. I've gone through the nerves of feeling like everything was going to crumble and having to come back to my point of focus of what is my next shot that I got to hit here? What is the next conversation I need to have? What is the next move that we need to make in order to hit the target? Now I feel clearer than ever on what my role is going to be for the next couple years and where I'm to go. And I can tell you, it's like that didn't come without dropping to my knees a few times out in the forest and like praying to the gods to like help me understand what the target is that I'm supposed to be shooting at because it's not always clear. And sometimes, I've played a shit ton of golf over the years, and some days it's foggy and you can only see 100 yards and the target's 300 yards away. And so you have to kind of trust your instincts in these moments when you're in the fog and really feel into yourself on what that next move is going to be. And moving through the fog is uncomfortable. That's what spaces like this with the Magic Mind are for, is like we can talk through it when we feel like we're in the fog and we can't quite see clearly where what the target is. That's why we have a caddy in golf, is like to help us see and be clear on what our target's going to be and to make a good choice so we don't screw up because we only get that one shot. And so today, as you're getting clear on what the target is, that's how you generate your power, is knowing what the target is. When we don't have a clear target that we're aiming for, it's really hard to be fully anchored in our power. And your target, the clearer it is, the better. And maybe your target is a financial goal. How do you get clear and anchored inside of yourself, because money is such a vague thing. So for you, like, how can you anchor into all the feelings if it is a money goal that you need to make right now of what it will be like when you've locked onto that target and you've fulfilled and you've hit that bullseye with whatever that goal is? Maybe it's a number of clients. Maybe it's something completely unrelated to your business and it's more around your lifestyle goals, your health goals. But how do you lock on and anchor it? And the clearer you are and in your feelings, in your emotions, your body, the somatic experience of like really feeling the target all the way through yourself, the more likely it is that you're going to hit that target. So choose your target, lock onto it, write it down, put it in multiple places so you're reminded every day, and find whatever your practices are going to be as those voices creep in, or the distractions or the obstacles, etc., that are going to try and get in your way. Because, if it was easy to just aim and shoot at the target, everybody'd be doing it. So that's where like the discipline and the practice and, being able to just move forward step by step, target by target, hit the next one. What's the next shot? Okay, I'm going to hit the next shot. And they're all moving you towards that end goal. That's my story. Thoughts, feelings, what landed for you? What's the target? Feel free to describe it if you got it.